Now, 4 years on from the devastating factory collapse in Bangladesh that brought its garment industry to the world's attention, major fashion brands have joined with unions to sign a new accord on fire and building safety. The brands include Primark and H&M and C&A. Over 1,000 people died in the collapse of that building at Rana Plaza. Well, let's go live to Paris, where that deal was signed, and Jenny Holdcroft from the Industrial Global Union, which played a leading role in negotiating this new accord with those brands. Welcome to the programme, Jenny. How significant a moment is this?
Well, it's very significant for us because what it means is that the Bangladesh Accord that we signed with the brands 4 years ago is working. We have a massive operation in Bangladesh working to inspect the factories independently and to do all of the remediation work necessary to make them safe. That work is still ongoing. It's a huge effort. But what this new agreement means is that the brands trust in the process, in having a binding agreement with global unions and bringing more than 200 brands to the table as we have in the current accord. That gives us the muscle to work at the industry level and to actually make a difference on the ground in Bangladesh.
And of course, with those tragic events at Rana Plaza, there needed to be a big step change, a big difference. I mean, you talk about the new accord going on from the last one. Is it any tougher than the last one?
Well, it is in the sense that we're looking at how to really empower workers, because it's one thing to fix the physical buildings, and that's obviously the most urgent thing. But the workers themselves need to be empowered that when they spot safety issues in the factory, they can raise it with their managers without fear of reprisal. They can refuse to undertake unsafe work, and they can clear out of the building if it looks that it's particularly unsafe. But for that, you really need empowerment, and for that, you need trade unions. So there's going to be a much stronger focus in the second accord about making sure that we have that sustainable change where workers can take a real active role in protecting their own safety in those factories.
I mean, the crucial element of anything like this, it's got to be more than signing a piece of paper, signing an accord. How much has fundamentally changed on the ground in Bangladesh?
Well, in terms of health and safety in the garment industry, everything has changed. Before, we had individual efforts by brands in the many factories that they're sourcing materials from, and it was never able to get traction. You've got multiple brands sourcing from the same factories, so their individual influence is quite diluted. But when you have an entire industry effort with everybody pulling in the same direction, and you have a systematic independent safety inspection and remediation program, you can do something that's absolutely never been done before, and that's what we've seen with this accord process.
And I mentioned just a couple of the big brands. There are many more that have signed up. What proportion of the garment industry is now under this umbrella? Because it's far more, doesn't it, than just international brands in terms of what actually needs to change on the ground.
Well, I think that the brands play a leading role in driving the process because they're the ones that are making the sourcing decisions. They decided to come to Bangladesh and to source from these factories. So there is a very large responsibility on them to take care of the factories that they're doing business with. But we've seen a massive change in attitude also from the owners and the managers in Bangladesh in those factories. They can see that there's real benefits in doing business with global brands when they can guarantee that the factories are safe. And I think that with the accord, what we're doing is something that's never been seen before. It has to be systemic change and it has to be at industry level. And really, the only way realistically that you can drive that is by having the major brands on board, like Inditex, like H&M, which are among the biggest players in this industry globally.
Jenny Holdcroft, I know you've had a very busy day there in Paris with the signing of this accord, but it's good of you to take time to come and talk to us here on Global. Thanks so much.